Hello and welcome to 2K21. Today we're going to discuss several different tips on how to score. So get your controllers ready and let's get started. Let's start out with the most challenging, I think, for most people, and that is the standing dunk. Now, a few things you need to know about the standing dunk before we walk through how to do it is that you only need a minimum rating of 40 in practice, but if you're doing it in a game, you're probably going to need to be in the 80 range minimum depending on matchups, and sometimes that won't even work.
Right here, we're going to pass it into the post, and we're going to hold down the L2 button, and we're going to back him down. Got to be careful, don't want the 3-second violation. As you can see, we're trying to get position in the top of the circle. That's where we let go of L2. If you notice, we let go right there. Okay. What we have to do here is we have to quickly hold down the R2 button and hold the right analog stick down, not at the same time. You want to do it basically, it's going to do R2, hold down R2, and then right analog stick down. That's the timing. Then you get that nice standing dunk right there.
One way to get this down pat is to go into Blacktop Mode and basically play 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. There's no 3-second violation to worry about there. Let's take a look at this example right here with a really good defender.
One final point I'd like to make is it's not impossible against a good defender. Here we get the ball inside against Dwight Howard. We're going to hold down L2, about right here anyway, and we're going to back him down. All right, we get to that sweet spot, right at the top of the half circle. That's, again, where we hold down R2 and then right analog stick down. You can alternatively do it right analog stick up. It's easiest for me to do it right analog stick down. I've had the most success with it. And, yeah, that's pretty much it there.
Our next tip involves use of the screen. The screen can be done by holding down L1. You can push in L3 if you want to change directions of the screen. That's just pushing the left analog stick. But basically what we're doing here is we are holding down L1 to set a screen and get a good 3-point shooter wide open. It takes a little bit of time in practice, but this can be very effective and can also be a good way to balance driving to the basket. That's right. If you're not using screens to balance it out, or using a pick to balance it out, and then drive to the basket occasionally, the defense will key in on what you're doing. So let's go ahead and break down how we can use a screen to drive to the basket and get a nice layup.
In this spot right here, we're going to hold down L1 and call for a screen. Okay, simple enough, right? All right, we're going to start walking to the right side. That's the direction of the screen. We're just walking right here. We're going to try to read what the defense is doing. Defense is not really set. If the defense is set and they're playing this tight, this is where we hold down R2, use the burst of speed to try to get through there. And we've got to be quick here. So while we're holding down R2, I'm going to hold the right analog stick down. And this guy is not a dunker, I believe, so he's going to go for the layup. But he gets a nice quick layup right there. If you have a more skilled player, he's going to go for the dunk. But that's another move you can make right there.
Now, sometimes you call for a pick, and they'll defend you a little weird because they're playing zone. What do you do then? Well, one option is to hold down R2, drive to the rim, and then if it's open, hold down the right analog stick and make a nice layup. So, the next time you use a pick to try to get a 3-point shooter open and it's not working because they're in zone, you can always drive to the basket. All right, we have another tip for using the pick. Yes, this one's going to be real cool, though. Okay, we're going to call for a screen pick. All right, we move over, and nice alley-oop. Let's explain exactly how we did that.
Okay, so we have the ball. We hold down, emphasis on hold down L1 to try to set a pick here. And this is kind of a tough matchup for us. We got two really good defenders here. So we're just going to try to use the pick. We're just going to do normal dribble. You're not going to hold down the speed burst button or anything like that. And what you're looking for is you're looking for this right here. Number 5 has his hand in the air. Okay? That is when we double tap that triangle right there. And we get very lucky against this matchup because we're not going to win this most of the time, but a nice alley-oop finish right there.
Before we move on to a different concept, it's time for one more variation of the screen that I found very effective, or the pick and roll as you say, and that involves the triangle pass, or holding down the triangle button to have a player cut to the basket. So here we simply hold down L1 for a screen, and then as we move we hold down the triangle button and then we release it right there. And that gives us a nice open shot with a different player. Okay, now it's time to shift our focus to transition scoring, and it all starts with the icon pass. Let's get started.
This one starts with the rebound. We're going to quickly hold down R1, and if you'll notice on the bottom part of the screen, the square button, that receiver is open. We're going to pass it to him quickly, as we do right there. Okay, right there, if you'll notice, defender's legs aren't set. The defender could be playing you flush. If the defender's playing you flush, if they're not backing up, what you can do is you can go from normal walking to holding down R2 and hitting the speed burst to go by them, which we're going to do right there. As you can see, we start accelerating right there. This defender's a little bit too small, not going to cover in time, so what we're going to do is simply, while we're holding down R2, we're going to go for the dunk by pushing the right analog stick down, which we do right there. You can see he takes off and gets a nice dunk right there.
So that is one way to score in transition. Let's take a look at another way. And this is flashy as well. This involves the alley-oop, which is pretty sweet. So let's break down exactly how this is done.
Okay, here we grab a rebound. We're going to quickly press R1 and pass it out, which we discussed earlier. If you'll notice right about here, Hill is open, but that's not where it's going. But you see the hand up. Okay, we're going to dribble a little bit, and right about here, we're going to double tap that triangle button, and make sure you're not like holding down R2 for a speed burst, or it won't work. But we double tap it, and we get a nice matchup right there for a sweet alley-oop.
So that is one example of an alley-oop. We're going to take a look at a second example of an alley-oop in order to try to help you get an idea of timing and spacing and stuff like that, because this can be a little challenging to pull off when you first try it.
Again, we get the rebound, R1, quickly transition pass, up. Okay, right here, if you'll notice his hand is pointing. He lifted his hand up. That's where you double tap that triangle button and get the nice alley-oop right there.
Now it is time to shift gears and focus on another cool play called the circle pass. All you do is hold down the circle button. It's kind of cool for getting a stagnant offense going. Now you can actually use it for jump shots, but we're going to discuss here just how to get a stagnant offense going. As you can see, hold down the circle button and we drive inside. Let's break that down.
In this spot right here, we're holding down the circle button. That's basically a handoff pass to number 11. There's a lot of different options we can do from here. We could shoot the 3 if it's open, because we have a screen, or potentially we could drive to the basket if it's just right. What we're going to do is we're just going to walk with that player toward the basket, and you can see right here we're flush with the defender. This is where we hold down R2 and accelerate toward the basket because we can blow by him. And then while we're holding down R2, the right stick down, or the right stick up, in this case the right stick down, for the nice finished dunk right there.
All right, now it's time for our final scoring tip. And because this move is a little bit challenging to pull off, or some of us may find it that way, we're going to look at 3 different examples. Let's start with this one right here.
All right, let's walk through some of the important keys to getting this thing executed right. All right, we get the ball, Alright, simple enough. Gonna hold down L2 to back him down. Gonna hold down R2 to back him down aggressively. See, he pushes him right there. Okay, another bump right there. Now this is where, right there, you see this bump right here? If he's on you and you're holding down L2, and let's say you take your hands off and you try to do it, it's going to go layup. Most likely, he's not going to go for the dunk. What he did right here is he bumped him away, okay? So now, what you can do while you're holding L2 the whole time is you take your hands off the other stuff, you know, the left analog stick, the R2 button. While you're holding L2, you're going to push R2 and then right analog stick, left analog stick up at the same time. And as you can see, he goes there, right there for a nice dunk with pretty much, I mean, he's pretty much got two guys on him here. So he bumps him away right there. You're still holding down L2, and then you press R2 and then right analog stick, left analog stick up at the same time. And nice finish right there.
So that was our first example. Now let's take a look at a second example right here with the cover of NBA 2K19. Again, backing him down. This one, not so much aggressively, but same concept. Let's walk through it.
Right here, we're in man-for-man coverage, and we're going to get a switch. We'll get a really good matchup. We're going to hold down L2, back him down, back him down, back him down before they figure out what's going on. And then right about here, we're going to let go of what we're pushing on. We're going to hold on to L2, though. And as we're holding on to L2, we're going to push R2, right analog stick, and left analog stick up at the same time for a nice dunk.
Now, if you're having any issues with this move, you may want to attempt it in Blacktop Mode where you can get one-on-one and don't have to worry about the 3-second violation.
Here we get the matchup we want. This guy's standing dunk rating is 75, I believe. Going to hold down L2 and R2 and back him down aggressively here. You can see the boom. Boom, knock him out of the way. Okay, he's out of the way. Going to just hold L2 and then R2, right analog stick up, left analog stick up at the same time for a nice finish right there. And of course, that is going to wrap this up. I am signing out. If you are looking for more tips on 2K21, there is a link in the description below to a playlist, or you can just check the playlist out on this channel. Yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so I'm signing out. Thanks for watching, and good luck.